July 2010. Notes and fall of junior year. July 17th, 2010. You could break the light until the shadows come, and I'm saying, oh yeah, please. Who could have made the perfect trees? Come on, wait till our minds fly with the heat. Search for a journey to complete, a mirror cast from a photograph, a motion transfer in a toxic glance. What's this? Oh yeah, please. I said, gimme that dream. I said, watch me dream. July 26th, 2010. When the spirals intersect, give me your hand and show me your smile. Take off a layer. Submerge. Assemble all coordinates of creation. Breathe what you conceive and evaporate the stagnant fluids within your heap. Let her sleep. Make up your last name, but act the same. Part ways. Say your prayers. Disassemble. Full junior year. I went on a family camping trip that August of 2010, as was tradition, but otherwise, the rest of the summer, post-mycospore ingestion, consisted of consuming the green power, with River and Tiernan on the daily. Eventually, though, River and I made efforts to cut back on our green power consumption before double session practices for soccer started. I haven't spent a lot of time talking about my soccer career, probably because it seems commonplace compared to the visuals and delusions of the great unknown, but soccer was really important to me back in those days. The previous season I had made the varsity team, but didn't play much in the pre-season games and absolutely despised the coach. In response to my lack of play time, I stepped down and decided to play junior varsity that year. It turned out to be a fruitful decision. I played almost the entirety of every game, improved my skills, and thus stood out as a star. For the junior year season, though, I was ready to have my rightful place on varsity, and knew that the coach who I hated so much would not be able to refuse my abilities. Sure enough, I made the team as a starting striker, an offensive position for those who do not know the sport, and became one of the top 10 goal scorers in the league that year. It was a wonderful feeling to prove myself like that, and all the while I still was able to enjoy a regular regiment of green power usage on my off time with virtually no repercussions. I say virtually no repercussions because the fact that I was a green power frequenter did not go unnoticed with the team. On my high horse, I occasionally decided to consume green power before soccer practice and justified the decision by claiming that the green power would put me into some type of flow state where I would perform better due to having less mental noise mucking about, or something. Those who have consumed green power and gone on to perform some mechanical task will not be surprised to hear that doing such before soccer practice resulted in a decent amount of clumsy gameplay. I'd be smiling like a maniac during warm-up laps, giggling, quipping, red-eyed and cotton-mouthed. Of course, River would think I was being funny, as he was totally used to me in this state, but my more or less straight-laced teammates could tell that something was up. You see, in my normal waking state, I tended to be quite serious, wide-eyed, and focused on the task at hand. One might even go so far as to say that I was stoic in nature, if not a bit depressive, in the manner that one would expect a Brit-Slav hybrid to be. So, when I would appear at practice, perma-smiled, as we called it, extroverted to the point of being out of character, select upperclassmen would use the opportunity to poke fun, partly from jealousy, I reckoned, because it was badass to be green-powered out at soccer practice. A couple of them took little jabs and casually exposed my green-powered state to the other teammates while they shared laughs. I think my coach was certain of my altered state as well, in at least one instance. I remember being on a breakaway during a practice scrimmage, in a situation where the normal me would easily bury the ball in the net, but instead I took a wild shot completely wide of the goal, like only a fool could. Our coach promptly stopped gameplay with a whistle and made several criticisms of the team in his British accent. And of course, Steverino is off in Never Never Land, he concluded, as the team laughed at the lunacy of it all. I think the bulk of it was good fun, since I was much more talented under the influence of green power than other players in the school's past had been, and I was still more talented than most of the players who had never touched the green power. I'm sure that was a puzzle for plenty of people back then, my competency despite my consumption, but my faith in the green power had the puzzle quite solved for me. It was a great season overall, even though we lost our first game in the playoffs. I will always wonder if I would have played better had I not stopped at Tiernan's house with River before getting on the bus to the final game. Tiernan had a green power consuming device called the gas mask, aptly named because it was indeed a gas mask that would fill up with green power fumes and thus force the user to clear the gas out of the mask, partly to relieve one's stinging eyes. It was an over-the-top innovation in green power consumption, and it was for reckless teenage reasons. River and I decided that the gas mask would be perfect before the most important game of the season. We played well enough, but I remember taking many shots at the goal and managing to hit the crossbar, something that requires an odd precision that is hard to replicate. But that's just the type of punishment green power would deliver for using it at an inappropriate time, as if it were saying, "Oh yes, you are taking shots on target, but because you are a bit off in the green power realm, your shots are clownish and only goal adjacent. Who knows what would have happened if you hadn't consumed me?" No matter though. I'm not the first to understand the ultimate insignificance of high school sports, and I was happy to end the season as one of the top goal scorers in the league, especially when most of my life I had been placed in defence.